everybody. Welcome to our sit and sip. I am sitting and sipping with one of my darlings, Meagan Good. Franklin, you may know her. We are sipping flat rosé. And first, I have to ask you, why flat rosé and not sparkling?
Sparkling gives me a little bit of a headache.
Oh, it does?
A little bit, yeah. But
does champagne do the same?
It does, yeah.
Okay.
So I just prefer. I love wine. I think wine is amazing, and more recently it's been rosé, but usually it's Sauvignon Blanc.
Oh, so you like it a little bit more dry?
I do because it has less sugar.
Oh,
So,
that's a good trick.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a lot of people who know, because I know a lot of people love to have their glass of wine before they go to sleep at night, and that's a good trick. So the drier, the less sugar.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
At least from my understanding.
Yeah.
Don't quote me all.
Yeah,
But from my understanding, I mean, and especially Sauvignon Blanc, it just doesn't. It's not as sugary as like a lot of the sweeter wines, or just so.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yay! So I'm so happy to have Meagan here. I am just going to touch on a few topics that I would love Meagan to speak on a little bit for our sit and sip today. And the first thing we're going to talk about today is beauty. So I know that a lot of people may look at you and consider you to be like their definition of beauty, like gorgeous, beautiful face, beautiful hair, beautiful body. And knowing that you're the face of beauty for so many people, how would you define beauty?
Well, first of all, you're beautiful.
Oh, girl! I love you.
And I don't know if I'm the face of beauty, but I mean, I get what you're saying though for some people, but I think the way that I would define beauty really, because truth is we're not going to look the way we look right now for the rest of our lives. Yeah. And I think that it's really about, as cliche as it sounds, it's really about your heart and your spirit being beautiful. And I think that when your heart and your spirit is beautiful and you try to be a kind person, you try to be considerate and helpful to other people, I think that kind of like shines through. And so I think it actually makes a person more beautiful. So I guess the way that I would define beauty is really from outside, inside out.
Yeah, I love that. And like, especially nowadays on social media, it's like, when we see pictures of people that we feel are like absolutely beautiful, and we just think to ourselves, A, there's no way I can look like that, or B, if I don't look the way that she does, I feel like crap about myself. So have there ever been any moments that you have felt insecure, you felt like not your most beautiful self, or not the definition of beauty? And if so, what did you do to combat that?
It's interesting because I grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood, and I dealt with a lot of racism growing up, got called every single name in the book.
Oh, wow.
And so I think, around the time I was 13 is when more like different minorities started moving into the neighborhood. So up until that point, I think I always felt that I was beautiful, but I felt like no one else saw it. So it kind of almost doesn't matter in that sense when you don't feel seen.
Yeah.
But I always had a lot of self-confidence as a kid, not necessarily in like, I liked the way I looked, but not just in that, like in my ability and what I thought I brought to the table and where I felt I was going in life and all that stuff. But definitely I did struggle because, in that environment, if you have a crush on a boy, like there was one boy, his name was Casey Willer. I had a crush on him, and we started dating. And with our little 12-year-old lives.
Yeah, I love that we always remember the first and the last name of like our first love. We never forget them.
Yeah, it's so great. It's so random, but yes. So Casey Willer, this girl, her name was Erica. She basically like conspired to like take him from me for no reason, and I felt like because he was white and because she was white, I felt like she would take him from me. And people would always say stuff like, when I had braids in my hair, like, how do you wash your hair? Can you wash your hair? Do you wash your hair? Stuff like that. I had neighbors whose property I literally wasn't even allowed to step foot on, like legit. And it's interesting because my sister is a lot fairer than me, and they would allow my sister to come on their property.
Wow.
So I think in that sense, I did feel insecure, but I didn't own that. I just felt like that's how they feel about me, and that's
so
not
you've
how I felt
always
about
felt that way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And I have no idea why.
So for people who need to, because I know that sometimes even me, like, it's hard for me to make that switch, like, especially when there's a lot of people who you think feel a certain way about you. Like, you know, like growing up for me, you know, I was always ostracized as a child, and so when most people ostracize you, you feel like the problem is you. So what can you tell people who feel that way and not like the issue is the other person, but rather the issue is me?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we believe what we tell ourselves. And so even if you don't believe it at first, the more you begin to tell yourself, the more you start to believe it. And I'm sure that's like true for a lot of things in my life, where I just determined, you know, I'm sure even with that, I just determined that it was the other person, and told myself and continue to tell myself that. Continue to tell myself, oh, well, you know, this teacher, I said, yeah, I want to be an actress. And she told me, she's like, well, honey, that's not very realistic. And, you know, you're pretty girl, but you're not as pretty as, like, you know, like girls who become actresses.
Wow.
Yes, girl. And so I think for me, I just chose to have my eye on whatever the prize is. And I think that as people, if we always choose to say, no, I'm going to speak positively about myself. No, I'm going to love on myself, even when I'm not feeling it. I'm going to tell myself I'm beautiful, even when I don't believe myself right now. And I just think the more that you begin to tell yourself the right things, I think your spirit begins to pick it up, and it begins to believe it. And the truth is, people are going to believe whatever you believe in yourself.
That's true. That's true. It like emanates from you. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And so this is personal affirmations. And so do you like set aside time to do personal affirmation for yourself, or you do?
I do every morning. My personal affirmations, they're, you know, related to God, and just like telling myself how He sees me versus how I see myself. Because even though I think I'm an attractive girl, that's one area. I have all kinds of other issues with other stuff. You know, just feelings of sometimes unworthiness, or feelings of like, well, why not me, or, you know, whatever it is, things that I think we all feel. So I remind myself every morning. Every time I try to say them on the spot, I can never remember them. But basically, I think it's, God, I am your child. I am dearly loved. Another one is, Jesus, I am your bride. Jesus, I am your friend. I say, Jesus, you are my Savior. Thank you for saving me. I say that I am adequate, that I am, what are the other ones? There's like 3 really good ones that just like speak to my spirit every time. But basically just saying like, I am deserving, I am righteous, not because I'm righteous and because I'm perfect, but because God makes me righteous. So it doesn't matter what I feel or think. It matters what He says. What He says is what it is. That's the bottom line. There is no other choice. So as I speak those things over myself every day, it's been about 2 years I've been doing it, almost 3. It's been a game changer.
Really?
Just to remind yourself who you are in the morning when you start your day. Then you take that with you throughout the day, and you know who you are, regardless of how you feel at any given moment. It's like, no, God says I'm this. That's what He says.
Girl, cheers to that.
Thanks.
Yes. I love that. Okay, we're still recording. Okay, good. I love it. So personal affirmations every day. And as you were saying that, I was also thinking like, I am accepted. I am enough. You know, I am in your family. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times you can feel like you're not a part of, you know, certain groups or certain communities, you know? And for me, even growing up, just being half black, half white, it's like feeling like you're not fully, like you don't fully belong to one community, or one community won't fully accept you as you are. So, but that there is, you know, a spiritual community that does accept you as you are.
Absolutely.
So I love that.
Absolutely.
Okay, relationship with our brother Devon. We love you, Devon.
Love you, baby.
And so you and Devon have been together for 7 years, married
7 years,
but together for 8. Okay, so for our audience out there, what are 3 things? Because Trey and I have only been married for about 3 years now, so still gleaning off of your wisdom too here. What are 3 things that you would say that are key to a successful, not just relationship and marriage?
Making your own rules. I think that people tend to say, this is the woman's role, this is the man's role, this is the way it should be. And I don't believe in that, and Devon doesn't believe in that, which is great. So it's really about, what do we want our roles to be? How do we create them in our world the way that makes us happy and makes us both feel good? And so I think just having that where there's the freedom to say, well, I don't have to cook every night. I don't have to do this. I don't have to do that. If I want to do this, I do this because I want to. But we share every part of everything, you know? It's like he doesn't have to bring home the bacon. I can bring home the bacon too, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think no rules, or rather creating your own within your marriage that works for you and your marriage. Don't try to change each other, you know? That's a big thing. You really, really have to let somebody be who they are and love the fullness of them, even the things that you don't like or don't particularly care for. Loving them in their entirety, I think, allows the other person an opportunity to grow. And sometimes when they grow out of the things that you don't really like too, you know? But I think when you try to change a person, oftentimes that person will hold tighter to that thing that you don't like, if they're as rebellious as I am. Or if they're not holding tight to it and they want to change, for you, it's not easy to just change overnight just because somebody wants you to. And so then you get feelings of, you know, resentment towards the other person, or you have feelings inside yourself where you feel bad because you can't just automatically become what they want you to be. So I think just loving the fullness of someone across the board, I think that creates a safe place for everybody to grow and to grow together. And then I would say just like having fun, you know? It's really important to have fun together, and it's really important to stay connected and to make each other the priority. And that means over kids, that means over your parents, their parents, siblings, everything. Husband, wife comes first. That's the way, biblically it was designed. And then also, I think that, you know, if God gives you a life partner, someone to take this journey with, that person is the only person in the world who's thinking about you all day long. Like your mother might think about you a majority of the time, but the person that you're coming home to living with every single day is the person who's thinking about you the most on the planet. And that is your partner on this entire epic journey of life. And they're sent to make you better, and you were sent to make them better. And you guys constantly hold up a mirror to each other and constantly challenge each other in sometimes the best ways and sometimes the most annoying ways. But they hold you accountable to you getting there, you know? And I think that's a really, really special thing. And I think with marriage, oftentimes people decide after 5 years they're not happy. And so, you know, get a divorce. It's unfortunate because after 5 years, you're not going to be happy with the other person either, or the person after that. At the end of the day, when you make a commitment before God, that commitment, the whole point of the commitment is when it gets tough, is when it sucks, when you're able to hang in there and hang on to each other, because the commitment that you made is not just to each other. You made a commitment to God. You know what I mean? So I think, it's just about being cognizant of what you're in and what it's for. And a lot of times being aware it's not just for them, it's for you as well, and having fun with it, you know, enjoying each other and choosing to be best friends on this journey.
Yeah, that's good, girl. Woo! Writing it down. That's good stuff. I love it. I love it. Okay, so the next one is self-care. So speaking of, you know, just celebrating the fullness of who you are, what is one thing that you choose to do for yourself, if not every day, every single week, to make sure that you take care of you?
Every day I have a routine, which is I get up, I do my affirmations. First I pray, then I do my affirmations, and then I've read my Bible every single day for the past 12 years, minus 20 days.
Wow. I know this to be true because even when we were on vacation in Jamaica and you and I were going to the gym, I'm like, Meagan, she like, girl, I'm in the bed reading my Bible. I'm going to see you in a second. So this is true. Yeah. Wow.
That for me is like, I'm seeking God's face every day at the top of my day.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing in the world to me, period.
Yeah.
So I make sure I do that every day. And I can look back at like the 20 days that I missed in 12 years. Every time I missed a day, I was doing something I shouldn't have been doing.
You know what? It's so funny you say that because I was just about to ask you, like, have there been days where, because since you've been doing it every day, I'm sure you will notice that in the days you don't do it, like, how is your day different?
Totally different. Totally different. Sometimes you can't tell. Now I can tell immediately if I wasn't. It's like sometimes when I'm filming, if I have to get up at like 4 a.m, then I don't read my Bible until I get to set and I get settled.
Yeah.
But before I get settled, I feel slightly out of sorts.
Really?
You know, I just feel a little off. When I do it, which I try to do every day, where I do every day, is I feel armored up. I feel prepared for whatever is going to come my way. I feel like I can handle anything. I know I can handle anything.